Welcome to the Mix Lab with LALAL.AI. I'm Justin Sheriff, and today we're going to talk about cleaning up noisy recordings without ruining them. All right, so first let's do a recording, and I'm going to add this fan in the background. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. All right, now let's export that. So let's check out the voice cleaner by LALAL.AI. It's very, very effective. All right, now first let's hear the original. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. Yeah, so you can totally hear the fan noise in that. Now let's see what LALAL.AI did. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA. Absolutely amazing. I do not even hear the fan anymore. So right off the bat, LALAL.AI to clean up your recordings, I highly recommend you try it out. But let me show you some other ways as well. So before we go back to that recording, let me show you what I do in my voiceover chain. So I use UAD for this. I use the console application so that my voice is affected before it even hits Pro Tools or any other DAW. So the first thing I'm going to use in my vocal chain here is actually this channel strip that has a gate in it. With a gate on, the signal that falls below the threshold will either be cut out or turned down. So when I go quiet, you're not going to hear that background noise anymore. And now here's another plugin that I like to add on my vocal. This is CVox. So what's amazing about this is this can do noise reduction in real time with no latency issues. So right now this is on my voice, cleaning it up even more. And check it out, we can even add another one to deal with the room sound. So two of these together in real time is on my vocals right now. So I absolutely love this noise reduction chain. It just makes it sound like I'm in a little bit more professional space. And obviously it's kind of a band-aid. One day I'll get some room treatment. But for now, it's going to clean up my vocals so that whatever I hit, whether it be social media, my Pro Tools recording, whatever, it's going to be clean right out the gate. And you'll notice I've also engaged the low cut filter as well, just to clean up that rumble I don't need to hear as well. Now let me show you some other professional tools that I use. Now one of my new all-time favorites is Clarity VX by Waves. This is a very, very high quality noise reduction plugin, and I've never heard something work quite as well as this. Listen to this. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. And just like that, I do not even hear the fan anymore. Very clean, very good quality. So I definitely recommend if you're looking for a noise reduction plugin, Clarity VX is a really good one to check out. Now another issue I'm hearing is that room echo, right? It just makes it sound less professional. Well, a plugin that I really like for this application is Clarity VX De-reverb. This is probably one of the best de-reverb plugins I've heard. Listen to what this does. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. Now, obviously I recommend getting room treatment first, fix it at the source, but if you have to fix it in post, Clarity VX is an amazing, amazing plugin. Now, some other things I definitely recommend is doing a low cut filter at the very least, all right? So a simple EQ, just filtering out that hum, that rumble, just stuff we don't need, and you're not going to even hear the difference really anyways. So this is not a tonal change, this is just cleanup. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. So right there, we shouldn't get much of a tonal difference, but we are just getting a bit of a cleaner recording and getting rid of what we don't need. Now, a high cut I don't think is as necessary, but if you hear some weird fizz or something up there, a high cut can clean it up as well. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA6. So right there, a simple low cut and high cut is definitely going to clean up a recording and make it more manageable. Now earlier we talked about gates. Well, here's one of my favorite ones of all time. This is RVox, which is a compressor by Waves, but it has a built-in gate or something also known as a downward expander. Let's talk about the difference. So with a gate, if a signal falls below a threshold, the sound will get turned down. Typically, this is very aggressive for a gate. But with an expander, it's going to be turned down gradually. And I often like this more because it's more musical, it's less aggressive. So this gate right here is probably one of the most musical, easy to use gates I've ever used. Listen to what this does, all right? So if you just set the threshold just right. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. And then as you can see, when the voice is done, it just gradually gets turned down until there's nothing. So why I like this is I've been using it for years and I've never heard it mess up. And I like the simplicity of it, right? There's so many gates out there, but sometimes less is more. And another thing we can definitely add is clean up your sibilance in your recordings, right? That sibilance, that fizzy sound, it just can be distracting and annoying. So making sure to use a proper de-esser to tame that is a really, really good idea, all right? Sibilance by Waves, one of my favorites. It has a look-ahead feature. And what that means is it's going to take a little extra processing, but it's going to yield a cleaner result because it can look ahead and make it better. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170 amp, and right, you can hear what we're taking away there a little bit. And that's just going to make the recording less distracting to listen to. Especially for voiceover, it's really important that you don't have too many distractions, right? Okay, so no background noises, roomy echoes, over sibilance, just simple things. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. Now, another really important thing to keep in mind with noise reduction plugins, if you overdo it, you do start to lose fidelity, okay? So it can be overdone, so you need to find that balance point where you're not doing too much or too little, and that can take a little bit of fiddling around. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. Yeah, so just take your time and find that right balance to get the cleanest recording you can without losing too much quality. Now, definitely some honorable mentions. iZotope RX is definitely some of the best noise reduction plugins out there, especially if you have mouth clicks. This works so well. So if this was a clicky recording, I'm just going to highlight this and go to Audio Suite and select Mouth Declick. And then I am going to store this away, so I always have the original. So we're just going to go Duplicate Playlist here. Highly recommend that. And then I'm just going to click Render. And believe it or not, that removed all the distracting mouth clicks out of the recording. So for removing mouth clicks, this is absolutely one of my favorite tools. I've used it for years, and it's really never messed up as well. So remember, mouth noise, spittle, clicks, all that, you definitely want to get rid of that too. Also, the voice denoise and spectral denoise, really good plugins too. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp. And if you want to target it more, you can have it just focus on the noise. All right, this is a microphone test with the Neumann TLM-170R running through the Universal Audio LA610 MK2 preamp and compressor tube unit. Not bad as well. So whether you use LALAL.AI or all these different plugins, just make sure to dial in the right amount to where it sounds professional enough without losing too much fidelity, okay? All these background noises, room echo, mouth clicks, it can distract the listener and remove them from the song, and we don't want that, right? So just take your time, hit the right amount, you'll know when you're there, and then you can add all that enhancement and all that special sauce to make your recording sound truly amazing. This is the Mix Lab with LALAL.AI. Take care, everybody.